there, today we're going to be doing the floating disk experiment. In this video, we're also going to be investigating the photosynthesis process. Now, the things you're going to be needing for this experiment are dish soap, a light source, 300 milliliters of water, 1/8 teaspoon of the baking soda, a syringe, a straw, some discs, spinach leaves, a spoon, and the cup. Also, you're going to need some aluminum foil. The first step you should do is to dump all the baking soda that you have into the 300 milliliters of water. Then take your spoon and stir it. I think we did enough stirring. The reason why we put baking soda inside our water is because this baking soda, when it's dissolved in the water, it creates carbon dioxide. The next, put a drop of soap. There, that's good enough, that's a drop. And the reason why we're putting a drop of dish soap is because we want the leaves to sink in, and the soap actually makes the leaves sink in a lot. So we're just gonna use our spoon, stir it slowly because you don't want any bubbles or anything to form like that. You just don't want that. There. The next thing you're going to want to need is to take your spinach leaves and use your straw. Place on of the spinach leaves so that you can see the veins. We don't want to poke any holes on top of the veins. Inside, like over here. It's not on top of any veins, so it's a pretty good spot to poke in. There. It's right there. So try to get more than 10. Minimum is 10, you can go more than that. The step you should do is to take your plunger from the syringe and take your discs and put them inside the barrel of the syringe. So I put about 15 to 20 discs in this syringe, and I'm slowly just going to put the plunger back over there. And make sure you don't like smush any of these. I'm gonna push slowly, but make sure the plunger actually doesn't touch the discs because we don't want the discs to be smushed. Now let's move on to the next step. Use the syringe, and you're gonna want to draw about 3 to 4 milliliters of water. That's good enough actually. And as you see, this is 3 to 4 milliliters of water. All of them are floating. We want to get all that air out of the leaves, and we want them to sink to the bottom. So what we do is that use your finger, you should seal it very tightly, and with that, you should push the plunger up. As you see, some are actually falling down, but most of it is still staying up. So what you have to do is you have to seal the top very carefully. But what you're trying to do with the plunger is that you're trying to make it go back up and forth, up and down, so that it's like a small tiny vacuum that's trying to remove all the oxygen inside this. As you see, a lot of it just went down. Finally, all of these discs got down. They're actually sunk to the bottom over here. Now that we have removed all the oxygen from the leaves, we will put this mixture in the glass. So slowly, gonna want to go like that. And after that, once you've done something like this, there. What I want to do is just slowly gonna want to pour this water. Since it has soap, it can bubble up, but slowly pour the water. Just 3 centimeters. That is good enough. Just above them, all of them have sunk to the bottom. Now we want to see if they can float up at top. Plants really need in photosynthesis is that they need carbon dioxide. We already got that by putting the baking soda inside that solution. Next, plants need water. This right here is water, as you can see. And this over here is a lamp. This is the light source. Plants need sunlight so that they can photosynthesis. This lamp is going to be acting like the sun. So we're going to be putting it like this and then turning on the switch. So all these leaf discs, they have all they need. They have the light source, they have water, and they have carbon dioxide. When this happens, the plants, but in this scenario it'd be leaves, well, they use all this to photosynthesize. They produce glucose and oxygen. Glucose is their food source, but oxygen is what they produce and let go. Since this is not the air, this is actually water, the oxygen will turn into little bubbles and slowly will stick around these little discs, these leaf discs. And when there's enough oxygen, this lowers the density of the discs, making them go much more higher towards the surface of the water. This can tell that the photosynthesis process is happening and is successful. Wait for a few minutes and see if the photosynthesis is happening. One is slowly starting to move. So that's the third one. Let's zoom into it. See, that one right there is actually kind of coming up. Oh wait, there was one right there. That one's also coming up too. Now we have like 6 floating up. In the end, this is actually working because these leaves, they're getting all their needs. They're getting the water, they're getting the carbon dioxide, and they're getting their sunlight. Because of that, these leaves are able to float up, and we can see that the photosynthesis process is working. Now, let's just cut one of their needs. What if we stop the sunlight? Let's put aluminum foil on top of it so no sunlight can come. Let's see how these leaves will react when it's in the dark. We'll see after a few minutes. So it's been a couple minutes and opening this aluminum foil and see what happens. I remove the aluminum foil, and as you see, all the discs sank down to the bottom. So you might be wondering, where did all these oxygen bubbles go? Why are they not on top of the discs? Well, what happens is that during the daytime, all of these discs take in all that carbon dioxide and release the oxygen. So when the sun was there to produce the photosynthesis, they were releasing oxygen. So that oxygen was all used so that they float. However, during nighttime, the plants actually use that oxygen and release the carbon dioxide. So because there were no oxygen bubbles inside this water over here, they all sank down to the bottom. The process that happens during nighttime is called the respiration process. So these plants, they do photosynthesis in the daytime and respiration in the nighttime. This is how photosynthesis happens in the morning and respiration happens in the night.